Hi, Flosstube. I'm Laura.
Hi, Joe.
Welcome to the Soulbox Farm.
Let me see. It's welcome back to all our returning subscribers. Hello to all new subscribers and people who stumbled across us. We're here to talk about cross stitch and what other crazy squirrel thing enters our head.
Whatever else scrolls us away.
Yep.
How is everyone this week? It is Monday, November 18th. We have had a horrible weekend here. Our puppy passed away yesterday, Sunday. It's been a horrible weekend. That's all I'm going to say. Because I don't want to start crying like a baby. Oh, and it snowed last week after we filmed. We got like 6 inches of snow. I'm like, wait a minute. It's November. We don't get that much snow in November.
We're not living in the snow belt. And if you're not from Ohio, you have no idea what I'm talking about.
No? Okay. Let's see. Who gave us love this week or said my hair was just fine? Joe? Who gave us love this week?
Let me see. Love, it's fine. Andrea, Bridget. Hi, Heather.
Hi, Heather!
Glenna and Lynn.
Mm-hmm. And apparently there were a bunch of comments that I went through and hearted this morning because while I hearted them when they popped up, apparently YouTube didn't like that on me doing it on my notification. So, I have no idea.
YouTube was being annoying? Oh my god, I'm so surprised. I don't know how I can deal with the shock at all.
Facebook's annoying too.
I think the internet broke recently and nobody's bothered fixing it.
Seriously. Alright, on to whips. Whips!
Yay.
Let's talk about what we've stitched.
Ink circles, jagged as much. I got a little bit of stitching. Things happened. Got a little bit done up there.
A little bit.
This is 115.
DMC, it's
DMC 115 variegated.
threads DMC 115. Fabric is
Storm Clouds?
Thunderstorm by Picture This plus 16 count.
She knows my fabric better than I do.
Yes. Alright. So.
Then again, I can't judge the count of Ada by looking at it.
Yeah, that's my party trick. Charlie Brown week. Charlie Brown's Thanksgiving week. We stitched on. I gotta find the bag. I have to get a hold of the bag. Had you stitch on something where the main portion of the chart is hidden and you haven't stitched it yet. So, right for singing, it was.
That was the one we came out with like 4 of them for, right?
Yeah. And it's upside down. This is stitched on a 14 count Pink Champagne by Silk Weavers. So, we have top border and we have all of the side border now. Well, we have a waist station 2 all the way down. So I stitched on, I stitched on leaving the thread hanging. I finished the bottom corner. I think it was these 2 flowers, and then this. Made 405 stitches. One more good look at it.
Okay, that was better.
Okay, then moving along. Excuse me. Sorry, putting stuff back away. You guys know how I am.
And by the way, if you lose stuff, do this.
This is why I don't want to. This is why I do that, so I don't lose stuff.
You don't want to know what happened when she did it the other way.
I've done it the other way, and I've spent more time cleaning up than actually working on the video, and I put threads in the wrong bag. So
No, my favorite one is when we find like 3 different projects worth of floss under the couch.
or that was that too.
I thought I had to lift the couch up so she could see them all.
So stitch on something you fought with. I have fought with this. It's not like.
It's called somebody tries to do something with a lot of counting in between pieces, and she keeps doing it while she's half asleep so she can't count.
Yeah. I'm not doing it with the standard flat colored floss that is called for. So I kind of have to be very conscious of how I am stitching my flowers and my petals.
So I will say, so far so beautiful, dear.
It is on the kit Ada. I think this was a kit. I'm not entirely sure. Somebody gifted this to me. And I got it in a Ziploc bag with floss and the pattern, so I'm not entirely sure. I don't know. It's okay. So I finished outlining that swirly. I did that flower, that swirly, that flower, that swirly, and that flower. And that was 418 and a quarter stitches.
Oh!
Quarter stitches only count for...
I know.
Quarter
It was
stitch.
just the way you said, like, okay.
So,
It caught me off guard, okay?
yes. So because I'm using the variegated and the back stitching, I have to be very conscious of how it's like most prevalent, like right in here, of how I stitch in the flower pattern. So that's why it's been a wee bit of a fight.
That flowers attract frogs, apparently.
Yeah, the frog likes the flowers. So to wrap up Charlie Brown week, I had to stitch on something with all of the crazy foods in Charlie Brown's Thanksgiving. I said that all of those crazy foods were in Main Street's grocery store, which was right next to Main Street's library on the page, which is actually called the bookstore according to the pattern, but we're calling it a library. Lynn pointed out that we could say that the library has recipe books for all of those crazy foods that Charlie Brown eats for Thanksgiving. She's not wrong. So
you go to the library, get the recipe, go to the grocery store, buy the stuff off the recipe.
Yep.
I could actually see people doing that.
Yep. That was 430 stitches. Turn it the right way.
You're not allowed to do that this week.
What?
Turn it the right way.
Apparently. This is done on a 14 count hand dyed by the Slovak Farm Stolo. So here we have our library. So those 430 stitches, do me a favor, hold that. Those 430 stitches finish the red bricking on the building. The building is not finished. I have to go pull the tan for the bottom bricking and the green for the door. And put in the books.
What do you want me to do?
A little closer to the camera.
I gotta sit up first.
So then I also pulled this to stitch on one of this week's prompts. We had to stitch on something that represented one of the participants of. I totally effed that up. We have to stitch on 3 items that we can tie into the participants of the first Thanksgiving. And we have to split 140 stitches between 3 projects. This cloud is 65 stitches, and it represents the wham, Wampanoag?
Wampanoag? Okay.
I'm butchering that. Tribe, which were the Indians that the first settlers likely encountered. How does a street of buildings tie into a tribe of Indians, you might ask? I did some internet research, because that's the kind of nerd I am, and discovered that this tribe of Indians lived in wigwams, the hut-shaped houses, and they would center their homes around a central square where council meetings and ceremonies were conducted. Wellington has a central town square. Right off of the town square is the town hall where the village council meets, and there are tons of things that go on during the year in this village square.
So the town square is older than the towns? Cool.
So, and the library in Wellington has a main feature on the town square. So it really ties in there.
Plus, I'm pretty sure it looks like a wigwam.
Well, the gazebo is the big part of the town square in Wellington now. So, and, well, I haven't got to that yet, so let's talk about that yet. I thought I might get to that, but I was busy doing other things this afternoon. Okay.
If anybody remembers Nickelback, they'll get my obsession with doing stuff like this.
So.
Comment below if you get it.
Oh, I will. So, after finishing up the weird foods, that finished off my Charlie Brown Thanksgiving week. I moved on to stitching on one of the monthly prompts. Pardon me.
Sorry.
I stitched Lady of the Flag to represent my friends because one of my very good friends, Glenna, passed me her Lady of the Flag copy. Loves it. And my Stitchy twin loves Mirabilia and loves Blingy, and so, excuse me. So that made me think of her also. And
it's right side up!
It's right side up, it's right side out. This is stitched on 32 count, hand-dyed by the Slovak Farm. For your thoughts. It never looks right on camera. It's a little bit richer than that.
Ew. It's just light. See?
It's
But it's just one of those things where the color of the light will never agree with it.
Yep, it is. I stitched 504 stitches on this flag. I never knew there was so much daggone blue in the American flag. But apparently there is when you're doing the Mirabilia Lady of the Flag. And this took me forever this weekend. Stitch night was Friday night. We don't stitch much at Stitch night. And then Saturday we were like, I was just distracted.
Ladies, can you please explain that to me? You don't stitch on Stitch night.
We chat and we look at threads. And there was a little bit, we had a moment because there's one of the colors in the flag is represented by a B, which looks an awful lot like an 8 that's in the dress. So I thought I needed more blue for the flag, so we pulled the color, only it was brown. And I'm like, wait, I'm confused. So then we went back to the chart, and we're like, no, it's only in the dress. The problem is, on the pattern, it says I need 4 skeins of that color. In the conversion, it says I only need 2. I have a feeling I'm going to have a problem.
Can I be honest?
What?
If you didn't get enough, you can go to the L&S. If you got too much, throw it in your stash with all 50,000 other of them.
The problem is I have... anyways, we won't go there. I'm just going to pray I only need 2 skeins. So there she is. There it is.
Are you doing one of your limited quantity ones?
Yeah. No. Okay. So then we put her away. And we started in on this week's tasks.
Sorry. I have had a long day where nobody knew how to do their job, and I had to tell people the same thing 10 times before they did it. Like, I want 4 meetings. I want this set up with 4. I need to set up the program to do 7. Not that hard. I don't know how to do it, but it's not that hard. I had to tell the guy 6 times. He's supposed to be intelligent.
My hair looks
Sorry.
frizzy today because I haven't brushed it. It was a long weekend. It was a rough weekend. So then we started this week's tasks, which I started telling you about were all about Thanksgiving. And to represent the Pilgrims at Thanksgiving, gee, what project did Laura stitch on? The project that's got Pilgrim dogs. Which after last night I didn't do much stitching on because, well, yeah. But here's where I'm at. I got 59 stitches in on his collar to fulfill the pilgrim task. Then I also needed to stitch on something that had a turkey on it. There's your turkey. I'm like 50 stitches away from being done with that task, but I'm not quite done yet. So we have a lot of tasks this week, but they're low stitch counts. So
Zerg Rush.
So that was my
well.
stitching for the week. I only did 1,881 stitches this week. Had a lot going on. I had a class Thursday night and I couldn't stitch. And
This entire weekend, her stitching time has gone down the tubes. We might talk about it in a couple of weeks. I'm not talking about it today.
I'm just not going there. So I did, however, before life went to hell in a handbasket, FFO'd a couple
things.
things.
To buy bookage. Actually, patternage. Looks like a book. That's awesome. What?
I FFO'd some things for Stitch Night Thursday night, or Friday night. Mr. and Mrs. Delicious by Lindy Stitches. This is in the Called for Colors. It is on a hand dyed by the Slovak Farm. I flat folded it. You can see my seam right there, big and nice. And then I just used, so I used a piece of the fabric to sort of bind it together. And then I used pieces of the fabric, almost made like a bias tape. I didn't even seal them shut. To make the thing that holds it open, or, stops it from coming apart.
It holds it overly open so far.
Yeah. So there's my flat fold on that. And then I went through my bin of shame.
Bin of shame.
All of the stitch projects you have finished that you haven't FFO'd. I found this little pumpkin pie that I did 2 years ago. I got it off of a homesteading blog, if I can remember it, which I'm likely not going to because apparently I couldn't remember Friday night. If I can remember and find it, I'll link it below if it's still there. But same deal. Use the same fabric for the backing, piece for the hinge, and then a piece for the stopper. I'm sure I didn't do it fantastically well.
You did a great job. Stop being so hard on yourself.
But there'll be a nice little centerpiece on our Thanksgiving table. No, they won't.
Yeah, they will. If you don't stop with the dining stuff, I'll go put that in the back of your car. Actually, that'd be really cool to hang from your back window, wouldn't it?
Y'all, Thanksgiving is next week, Thursday.
Huh?
Thanksgiving is next Thursday.
I
I feel like it should be here already because it's late, but I just really want food. That's our stitching for the week.
Turkey, I like turkey.
There's a lot of haul. Haul.
Y'all.
Y'all.
Yeehaw!
Hit it.
This is Threadworks Overdyed Floss. I don't know what. Is that the number?
Yes, Threadworks doesn't have. Well, they have names, but the best way to find the Threadworks floss is the number. So if you are interested in this floss, it's called Foxy. That was the number.
Very variegated. I'm doing a name badge for Guild, and it's 2 cats on it. And it's like, you know what? She has something with this. I forget what it is.
I used Foxy on the cat next to the grocery store in Main Street. His is a little less variegated than mine, but it's still really nicely variegated.
Yeah, because I like weird tabbies. I like the tabby, the kitty cats with the weird patterns to them. I don't like perfect. It jives with my sense of weirdness.
Okay. Stitch night was Friday night, and I had placed an order. I needed beads for Lady. So Lady now has all of her beads. These aren't all of them. Lady now has all of her beads. Yay, Lady. I won a chart, hand blessings, Thanksgiving quilt.
It is fighting you.
It's a cute little pattern. I'm going to change it up a little when I stitch it.
Surprise faces. I want to see everybody's surprise face.
Let me put on my shocked face for you. And then
Let me go get a power cord. Shocked face. Sorry, I won't be low Thomas.
Stitchy Twin just finished stitching Drawn Threads Autumn Garden, so I am borrowing it from her because we both want to live in that house.
You know what? I don't think Laura wants to live in the house. I just think she wants that much room between her and the next people over.
Also a possibility.
With nobody behind you in sight.
It's time for your favorite game and hits.
Oh, you don't like it then?
Victorian motto, Floss came in today.
Okay.
'Tis the season, artificial lighting, that is a little darker in real life than it is showing up.
Autumn leaves.
Nope, it's called Prim Holiday Cherry. I suppose I showed it up right. I like this color. This is very pretty.
I think that would actually be great colors for fall colored trees.
It's a nice, variegated.
Do you agree or disagree?
I agree. It's a nice variegated red. Here we have a nice yellow. Again, a little darker than it's showing up. There is some subtle variegation in it. I like subtle variegation as opposed to strong variegation, even though it's variegation in one color, because it looks a little less
Corn.
wonky. Close. It's a green. Golden oaks. Oaks isn't a green, is it? It's a tree.
I think it's supposed to be oats, not oaks.
I read oats. It says oaks.
Oaks, okay.
I read oats. It says oaks.
Yeah, you're thinking the same thing I was then.
Yes. This is a nice, dark, rich green with a nice variegation in it when I twist it up.
Western fern.
Christmas pines.
Hey, that was close. That was actually these are the same family.
Uh-huh. Here's a nice light blue.
Pizza Boy.
Eastern skies. Eastern skyline.
What's funny is I keep thinking one thing, I say nah, and that's what it's turning out to be. That's getting funny.
This is not brown. It's going to look brown.
Almost
It is not brown. It is a purpley brown. It looks very brown. I assure you it's not. It's a very nice purpley brown.
Lavender?
No, mysterious mauve.
Mysterious. I don't even know what a mauve is.
It's a purpley red, and you get that rich purpley red color in the brown and the underlyings of. I mean, it's like a brownish, purple, reddish sort of color.
Okay, next.
Hard to explain. Last one. It's a nice, lovely green.
A little tealish. Little hints of blue in there, it looks like to me.
It does have some hints of blue in it. You're all right.
Okay, I'm just gonna go for weird because I can't really take it. Peacock butt.
Peacock butt.
It actually looks like the not tail feathers of a peacock to me.
Mistletoe and ivy.
Wait, but doesn't it look like the regular
It's a little bit more green than that, than those, but close.
That was literally the closest thing I could think of. That kind of color.
Okay.
And by the way, I think my record currently is the number she's done is 0. I won 0.
Okay. That's haul. So there's
Yay!
as much haul as I thought there was. Of course, I didn't hold up all the individual bee packs that I got. Moving on. Plans.
I wonder what he's planning.
Cactus.
My plans, I don't have any plans. If I stitch, I stitch. My brain's a little too fatigued to plan anything.
It is, yeah. It's Thanksgiving week in Daily 30. It is the last token challenge of the year. The end of the month wraps up the tokens, and everybody starts with 0 in January. They do have stuff planned for December. I don't know what. Cheryl is putting us through our paces this week, because she has given us 10 challenges with 200 stitches each. Now, that equals out to the same as 5 challenges with 400 stitches each. So it's no big. It just feels like a lot because there's a lot of them. He's taking a drink of water. He's hiding. So,
Well, I don't want to have any freaking like copyright or anything weird.
So I showed you my. So I finished part of my stitching for the first prompt, which is to stitch on things that represent the members of the first Thanksgiving, the attendants of the first, whatever. The Indians and the Pilgrims. Technically, I have 16 more stitches left for that prompt. I'll probably put in a few extras. I am going to put them on cardinal points because the settlers used compasses to get to the New World. And cardinal points is north, south, east, west, whatever the cardinal points are.
Cardinal points are used in maps.
Yeah.
Boom,
Thank
everything done.
you for putting it together. Cardinal points are used in maps. Well, the settlers didn't really have a map to get to the New World.
Yeah, they had a cardinal point. It's called West.
Thank you. That's how it ties in.
Next.
These are not in order, by the way, because what I did was I wrote everything down. I picked out projects and then I grouped them together by the projects. And I'm just going to work on the project and take pictures at each point. So, the next prompt, we have to work on something with a fork in it. Any definition of a fork. Because there was no forks at the first Thanksgiving. They used spoons and knives. Forks were not introduced to the Pilgrims until about 10 years after they landed. So, we had to stitch on something with forks in it that we can relate back to a fork. How does cardinal points relate back to a fork? Well, let me tell you. So there's a lot of individual motifs in here, especially like the individual flowers, the leaves, blah, 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 blah. So, when I get done with each little section, I look at it and I go, what do I want to work on next? I could do this, I could do that, I come to a fork in the road of decisions on what I'm going to stitch on. It's a definition of a fork.
And then she does a pattern drop. Mic drop. She does it on the camera.
It's a Stitcher's version of a mic drop. Pattern drop. So I had not gotten to this yet. When I stitched today, I thought I would. We have to stitch on something with
Here you go.
letters. I don't need this. We have to stitch on something with letters on it because Thanksgiving was signed into a national holiday by Abraham Lincoln during his presidency. After Sarah Josephine Hale spent 17 years writing letters petitioning for Thanksgiving to be made into a national holiday. And giving everybody the day off of work and celebrating them.
Oh, she can see the commercial nightmare it's become now.
Thanksgiving is not a commercial nightmare. It's after Thanksgiving.
It's the day after, period. Okay, everybody got full. Now let's not eat breakfast or lunch tomorrow because you have the calories to burn anyway. And let's just go shopping.
Anyways.
Yep.
So.
Okay.
There's lots of letters in books. And if you really want to be particular, all of the buildings on Main Street have the names of the buildings on the building in letters.
She couldn't just do Ride for Singing or anything with real big letters on it.
It was a consideration. However, I did kind of want to touch a variety of projects this week. So, let's go back to this. We had to stitch on something that won out as this new start over something else because the bald eagle won out as the national bird over Benjamin Franklin's campaign to make the turkey the national bird. I think Ben Franklin was on the right idea.
No, he wasn't.
I picked Cardinal Points because Cardinal Points was a new start that won out over doing other things. Plus, it's got birds on it.
I think I just reset her processor.
There were only 5 female survivors that first year in the colonies. So there were only 5 women at the first Thanksgiving. We have to stitch on something that has a woman on it. And it has to be a woman. It can't be a female anything. Not woman. Can't be a female cat. Can't be a female dog. Can't be a female bird. You get the idea. It has to be a woman. Ride for Singing has a woman on it. There you go. The first meal eaten after the first moon walk in outer space was Thanksgiving supper. We have to relate something to space. Well, this sucker takes up a lot of base when she's finished. There you go. That's base.
I love you and your creative way of doing things.
We have decided on Virtual Stitchers that Cheryl loves our creativity overall in the group because we really haven't. Apologies for the woo woo if you hear it.
Wait. There's no way they don't hear it. You might want to mute this section or something.
And it'll be alright. So anyways, we're pretty sure Cheryl just loves our creativity because we have never known somebody's creative tie-in to be completely rejected. You know, it's possible something just was completely out there and it didn't tie in at all and there was no getting it there and somebody tried to submit it and they said no, but...
You have a really long arm with her.
You do. So, I'm not going to go through the gigantic list of the foods that were at the first Thanksgiving feast, but needless to say, turkey and green bean casserole was not on. Turkey and green bean casserole was not at the first Thanksgiving.
Of course not a casserole. I think they came out a few hundred years later.
Green bean casserole came out. They started the casserole thing in like...
The 50s?
Well, I think it was more like... It was the early 1900s with food processing thing. Food processing and the invention of canned...
Campbell's.
And Campbell's actually invented green bean casserole as a way of promoting cream and mushroom soup. And their canned soups. Okay, a little history lesson for you there. I'm not going through the list of foods that were at the first Thanksgiving. Dried fruits and a couple of different kinds of nuts were the... a couple of different kinds. Oh God, the inner 12-year-old just...
And the fact that the cat is literally spinning around like a nutcase right now.
And he did the giggle. We're among those, so I'm pretty sure all of those baked goodies in there at Santa's house has some form of dried fruits and nuts in them.
Can
So
I
we're
see?
gonna do Santa's house. The first Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, I didn't write down the
Yeah,
year.
there's a fruitcake right here. And there's another one up there. You gotta be a little bit fruity to drive our sleigh all night.
Fantastic.
Thank you. She's
Fantastic.
gonna kick my butt one of these days. You're gonna have a nice recording on YouTube of me get my butt whooped.
The first Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, I didn't write the year down, had no balloons in it, and it featured animals from the Central Park Zoo. So we have to stitch on something that features animals that we would find in the zoo. Cleveland Metro Park Zoo has reindeers in their zoo. Reindeers. Their reindeers don't fly, but they have reindeers in the zoo.
Also, don't they have Santa Leb? Did they have Santa Leb reindeer in the first one too?
I don't know.
Look that up.
Anyways.
Oh, jeez, you're no fun. I gotta say something.
I suppose. We're almost done here. We're almost done here.
I'm sorry.
The first TV dinner was introduced in 1953. I wrote that year down. I didn't write down the dumb parade year. Was introduced in 1953 by Swanson. It was introduced as a means to use leftover Thanksgiving meal items in the Swanson factory. Don't ask me. I didn't read the whole... I mean, I read the whole thing, but... I don't remember it. It was packaged into aluminum trays and sold as convenience meals, easy to heat up and eat. Thus, the beginning of the TV dinner. They have gone downhill vastly since then.
I used to like TV dinners until I got introduced to good cooking.
So, we have to stitch on something we can relate to TV. Because you watch Beauty and the Beast on TV.
And she's had a couple TV specials. And
she's
you
had-
also play video games with Bella in it. It's called Kingdom Hearts on your TV. So it's the PS2.
And anybody who's a Once Upon a Time fan absolutely loves Bella on Once Upon a Time.
We can keep going if you want.
Shall I keep going, Cheryl? She doesn't even grade my stuff. I don't know that my grader actually watches my videos. So the final one. The heaviest turkey ever was 86 pounds. That's a big turkey. We're gonna need a bigger deep fryer.
No, you don't need a deep fryer. After you go find somebody's flipping pool. No, tub. Sorry. Meant tub. Cast iron tub.
Okay.
Actually, a cast iron tub, you could heat it up and probably make an awesome deep fryer. With a drain.
So we have to stitch on something that is large. And that dress is quite large.
You want another thing?
What?
I'm pretty sure that was also Belle's weight in that movie.
This dress is quite large. And actually, this is deceivingly larger. This is deceiving because it is a lot larger than you would think it is based on this picture.
Yeah, actually I think it's flipping huge considering that's her corset and that's the dress. It's like 1, 2, 3, 5 or 6 times her shoulder width.
Yeah, I didn't actually expect this to be quite as big as it is, but it is 124 stitches by 118 stitches, so boom. Mic drop, that's the plans. Panner drop, that's the plans for the week. Will I get them all done? We'll see. Depends on how my week goes.
Anything else ticks me off, I'm liable to run it over.
One thing I had going on this week ended up getting canceled, so I think maybe that's probably a good thing, all things considered.
No.
Announcements. If you are in the fabric and bag buying group, pretty sure I announced this early on. Apparently it got lost somewhere along the ways. I use priority mail to ship all of my items. I have tracking on priority mail and it gets there in 2 to 3 days. That's my shipping method. That's my shipping method. That's all I'm going to say about that.
I.e., if you want it shipped a different way, shop somewhere else. Or drive your butt over here and pick it up.
I put up an announcement in the Hand Dyed by the Slovak Farm group today. And I also put up in the retreat yesterday. I'm going to do my best to keep on top of things, but right now, it may not happen. Give me some time. Things may be slow. I do have somewhere in the pile of crap that is behind you on the footrest.
You mean the stitch rest?
The stitchy rest, the table that is an ottoman, is a list of things, of all of the fabric counts and all of the cut sizes that I can get priced out to be sold. I need to get a document up with that. I need to get a document up with bag costs. Both of those documents will have shipping information clearly laid out on them, even though it's the same for both. I am willing to work layaway with customers as of right now, and that's got to go up on a document. I do have it worked out. I just have to get it printed up, typed up on a document. So if you're in the group that you want layaway, talk to me. We'll hash it out. Retreat plans, still going on that. Got a few more things to get picked up for the goodie bags.
My thing might be indefinitely postponed.
I'd have to rethink the one thing.
Okay, anything else?
That's it.
Okay.
So,
Subscribe, like, comment, share, bell notification, all that good stuff. Other social media ways of bugging her down below.
That's it for the week.
Bye.
Bye.